Yes, the relay on YouTube. Check it out. Lots of stories about me on there. All the boxing facts and info that you want in a very entertaining, educational manner. The relay. Check it out on YouTube.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay where we're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. It's official. Terry Harper, in light of the Cecilia Brækhus fight's collapse. She's supposed to be in action this past weekend on the undercard of Taylor versus Cameron, but Cecilia says she contracted the flu, and as a result of that, that fight fell apart. And just like that, they're getting Terry Harper back out there this upcoming weekend opposite the ring, Croatia's own Ivana Habazin. An interesting turn of events because up until this point, we were under the impression that Ivana would be challenging Jessica McCaskill for what she's got at welterweight. This fight is at super welterweight, otherwise known as junior middleweight.
Where does that leave Jessica?
And why would Ivana Habazin choose to fight Terry Harper for her just one belt on short notice, instead of Jessica for the 3 belts Jessica holds?
At welterweight.
Why would she do that?
More money.
There might be more money in it for Ivana Habazin challenging Terry for her 1 belt than challenging Jessica for her 3.
There might be.
There might be more money in it for Jessica, too. There might be more money in it for Jessica because if Ivana's not fighting Jessica for what she's got as her mandatory challenger, that, in theory at least, frees up Jessica's schedule. She's not pinned down to fighting Ivana anymore.
Remember what happened?
What?
Ivana Habazin's promotional team placed the winning bid for the fight when the fight went to purse bid, the fight with Jessica.
The winning bid was just a little over $100,000, just a few $100,000 at least, maybe 2.
Matchroom placed the second highest bid, which was a paltry amount of money. It wasn't very much. The problem there is that Ivana Habazin's team, they ended up defaulting on the purse bid, so the rights to the fight went to Matchroom, and the money that Matchroom put up for the show
was low.
Wasn't very big at all.
On that premise, Ivana Habazin may make more money fighting on the undercard of Wood versus Laura 2 opposite the ring Terry than what she stood to make fighting Jessica. And Jessica, in turn, may end up making more money fighting someone else.
Somebody like Sandy Ryan. The only other champion at this weight, newly crowned WBO champion.
It's my understanding that there was a plan in place to put the winner of McCaskill versus Habazin in the ring with Sandy Ryan. But if Ivana's fighting Terry now, she's not fighting Jessica, leaving Jessica free to go unify titles with Sandy, at least in theory.
Ivana sports a professional record of 21 wins with 4 losses, no draws, 7 knockouts, having only ever been knocked out once. That one knockout came at the hands of Michaela Lauren.
She's only fought once in the last 3 years or so, just once. That fight with Deanna Prozac that took place in October of last year.
She didn't fight most of 2020, didn't fight at all in 2021, only once in 2022.
33 years old, a former IBF welterweight champion. I didn't give Ivana Habazin very good odds against Jessica McCaskill.
No.
I'm not giving her good odds now.
No.
Against Terry Harper, though I will say she might have more to offer Terry than Cecilia Brækhus would have. And I know that sounds crazy, Cecilia being as accomplished as she is.
And Cecilia beat Ivana Habazin years ago, back when Ivana was a champion. She took her blue belt.
So where do you get that she might have more to offer Terry than Cecilia would have? And it's because Cecilia's older, a lot older than these girls.
Yeah.
Cecilia's in her 40s.
Yeah.
Harper versus Brækhus read to me like something akin to Ali versus Holmes or Ali versus Berbick, a fight where you're looking at a fighter that used to be one of the greats but just ain't got it anymore.
One-sided fight, one-sided beating. That's what I was expecting. Ivana,
She's never had the talent or ability of a Cecilia Brækhus, but here today, she is a younger woman than Cecilia. She's only 33 years old to Cecilia, who's in her 40s.
because she's younger.
With more rounds in the bank than young Terry Harper, who sports a professional record of 13 wins with 1 loss, 1 draw, 6 knockouts, having only ever been knocked out once.
Was at the hands of Alicia Baumgartner.
Terry saw action 2 times in 2020, 2 times just once in 2021, 2 times last year in 2022.
She's been busy. She's been fighting.
Perhaps Ivana Habazin will have a little bit more durability to offer up to Terry Harper than Cecilia Brækhus would have, though all the same, I do have Terry Harper winning the fight, the upcoming Habazin fight, and I feel like the aesthetic of that fight might look a lot like the aesthetic of the Michaela Lauren versus Ivana Habazin fight. Michaela knocked her out.
Yeah.
I think Terry can too.
Terry's always been very strong, athletic, Great boxing ability, great jab, great backhand.
I never would have imagined that she'd move all the way up to junior middleweight, but so far it looks like a fantastic weight for her. She's not depleted, having to boil down all the way to 130 or 135 anymore.
Won a WBA title from then champion Hannah Rankin of Scotland in September of last year, and she looked sharp, she looked strong.
And fast. Faster than your average junior middleweight because Terry Harper is not a true junior middleweight. She's a smaller fighter that moved up in weight, giving her a speed advantage over most other junior middleweights in the division.
Ivana's too slow for Terry. Slow feet, slow hands, defense is leaky, cumbersome.
It's going to be target practice for Terry Harper. In spite of this being a short notice opponent, I'm fairly confident that Terry Harper wins the fight, wins the match.
She's the belter.
She won't be denied. Cecilia Brækhus claims to have contracted the flu. That's why she was unable to fight. That might be why they were unable to reschedule the match. Terry doesn't want to wait. Terry wants to fight.
I want to watch.
Lara versus Wood card is just a little bit better now. And Cecilia, I feel like she dodged a bullet because I was expecting her to get battered. I was expecting her to get bloodied. I'm sorry to say, but Cecilia ain't got it anymore.
Maybe she should just retire off that Wenda Portillo and bow out gracefully, because if she fights somebody like Terry, she's gonna get hurt.
It's the truth. She don't win that fight. And now that Ivana Habazin is out of the running for a McCaskill fight, I half expect to hear an official announcement that Jessica McCaskill will be facing Sandy Ryan instead.
Good decision or no?
Man, that was the biggest robbery. I don't know what the fuck the judges was.
Oh, look. Yet another professional boxer who's calling yesterday's outcome a robbery.
Another guy who the Haney supporters would have you believe don't know shit about boxing.
Another boxer.
But that was crazy. You know, it's all money. It's all money. But Lomachenko won that hands down, man. That was crazy.
Y'all won't even in the arena. Y'all won't in the arena. The whole time they cheered for Lomachenko.
Keyshawn Davis, like many fighters in the industry, was in attendance for the match. He was there, and according to him, Lomachenko had the crowd. Lomachenko had the fans on his side.
They were cheering for him. I wonder why.
Like, he in his country. I'm like, isn't this Devin Haney? Isn't this Devin Haney homecoming? Ain't this his city? Bro, Lomachenko had that shit on smash in there. And they gonna rob him in front of all his fans.
Another pugilist, another professional boxer calling yesterday's fight an outright travesty,
Yeah.
a robbery.
Yeah.
I'm not here to argue. I can only tell you what I think. And if you want to know what I think, and you're here, so I'll assume that you do, it was a robbery. I agree with the Vargas kid. I agree with Keyshawn. I agree with a lot of people. The judges got it wrong.
And a vocal minority of Haney fans, Haney supporters, a vocal minority of individuals aren't going to change my mind.
Say it's a minority because you can take a sample size poll on any social media platform right now, anywhere, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook.
I did.
A sample size poll of 437 individuals, 78% of which think Vasyl Lomachenko won by way of Twitter. Another sample size poll here on YouTube.
Sample size poll of 530 individuals and counting.
78% of which think that Vasyl Lomachenko won.
Polls are open. You can go vote.
If you think Devin Haney won, cast your vote because he needs it. Most people seem to think Devin Haney robbed Vasyl Lomachenko. And I'm not here to debate your thoughts versus mine.
You can't convince me.
Gaslighting won't work, as that is what Devin Haney's supporters have resorted to, trying to gaslight the majority of people who seem to think Vasyl Lomachenko was robbed.
Saying we don't know shit about boxing. I don't know shit about boxing, but what about Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, the Vargas kid, Keyshawn Davis? They don't either. The actual boxers.
I mean, the problem for these guys is I don't need them to agree with me that this was a robbery.
I don't.
I'm just saying what a lot of people are thinking. What I'm thinking, I'm addressing it.
So Lomachenko was robbed. That's how most people feel.
According to Ellie Sackback of ES News, a guy who I don't normally agree with, he says Haney fans on camera after the fight told me Vasyl Lomachenko won. For those saying fans had their guy winning, every boxing star said Loma won. 99% of media said Loma won. Boxing lost tonight.
Sure did.
Because what you want is for us to rejoice and talk about how great Haney looked, how great Haney did. What a big win this is for him. That's what you guys want us to do. The problem is,
Most people don't think he won.
you want adulation. You want acceptance. You want me to agree with you.
But I don't.
Not here to debate the fight's outcome. The fight is over. The outcome is decided. All I can tell you is what I think about it. If you want to know what I think about it, and you're here,
You don't have to be.
so I'll assume that you do. What I think about it is it was a plain old robbery. Another guy in the sport of boxing who was hard done by the judges. It happens all the time. It happened last week. It happened this week. The boxers themselves have no reason to lie.
And maybe the reason they're not going to is because they never want to find themselves in a situation like this. They never want to find themselves being robbed of a victory they so clearly deserve, so they sympathize with Lomachenko.
They're just being honest. The right man didn't get the decision. The right man didn't win the fight. And because the right man didn't win the fight,
It's not good for business.
do you take it as a sign of Devin Haney's stock going up post-fight, that he was being booed by those in attendance? Do you take it as...
Does that seem at all good to you?
Is that a good thing? Did he convince the people that paid to be there that he really beat this man?
Because if he didn't,
The judge's decision isn't convincing. It would have been better for Devin to lose and lose gracefully. Lose in a dignified way, leave the division, move up in weight.
a dignified loss would have been better for his stock than an undeserving victory, an undeserving win, because now people don't like him.
Taste it leaves in people's mouths is bad enough that they start to wonder why they even still watch boxing. A boxing fan that goes by the name of Boxing Republic stated, yet another example of why boxing fans are just tired. I'm tired. The one fight I come back for, and this is the bullshit we get.
Saw a bit of damage control from ESPN's commentary team, former champion Andre Ward.
He said Loma's the sentimental favorite because Haney wore a grill. Get the fuck out of here.
Let me get this straight. You think people are averse to yesterday's decision because of a hideous accessory that Devin Haney wears on his teeth?
I can't change the outcome of yesterday's fight any more than you can convince me that the judges got it right. I'm not actually protesting what they did. I'm just telling you what I think.
It was a robbery.
I can already imagine that in the comment section, you're going to have a couple of guys telling me what they think, but I didn't ask.
If you think Devin won, that's great. Fly a kite.
Refinance your mortgage. Rotate the tires. Do what you like.
It's not going to change my mind.
I'm not trying to change yours. I don't care how you scored
It
it.
was a robbery.
I don't care how you scored it.
I know what I saw. So does everybody else.
So do you. Moving forward, when Devin Haney doesn't get the credit that you think he deserves, the adulation and the praise that you might want him to get, that's why.
That's why. It's the vocal minority looking to debate and discuss the outcome of yesterday's fight. That's why they're the ones that want to argue about it. Everybody else is settled. It was a robbery.
I'm just letting y'all know I am done with boxing. They will never get another dime out of me. This is a travesty. I am done with boxing. Devin Haney is a very talented boxer. I have nothing against that young man. Much respect. He was not the better man today. At most, that man got a draw. At most. That man got robbed.
People in boxing, celebrities outside of boxing, they're all saying the same thing. Do you think it's encouraging for Devin? Do you think it's encouraging for the sport that a guy like Nelly moving forward says he won't spend another dime on boxing?
A public figure.
Fallacious arguments, sophistry, and gaslighting won't change the repercussions this has on the sport. It's not encouraging when you're driving customers away with this level of chicanery.
Boxing market in America was already in pretty bad shape as it was.
People are booing at the end of the match. It's not because they felt they got their money's worth. It's not because they have intentions of spending more money on it moving forward.
This is bad.
And you wanting to be right. Bad enough that you're willing to endorse this robbery.
Well, congratulations, but I don't think Devin Haney made himself any new fans with this one.
This hurts the sport. Post-fight, Vasyl Lomachenko said the people saw what happened. Haney is not a pound-for-pound fighter.
Give him the decision, put the belts in his hands. Make it easy for him.
People know what they saw, and you can't change their minds.
I saw Vasyl Lomachenko hurt Devin Haney more times than the opposite.
Towards the tail end of the match, it was the bigger, younger fighter that was fading down the stretch, not the older, smaller man who was picking up steam.
Landing punches.
Fans at the arena showered the outcome with a heavy rain of boos. Lomachenko admits that he expected Haney to be a better fighter and does not view him as a pound-for-pound type of boxer. I don't want to talk about the decision. All the people saw what happened today before I thought he would be better. He's a tough fighter. He's a good fighter. But he's not a pound-for-pound fighter, Lomachenko said. I think I showed that I can still be in boxing. I'm in good shape now, and you will see next time. Right now, I want to go back home and support my country and support my Ukrainian Orthodox Church.
I didn't see a Vasyl Lomachenko that's on the slide. I didn't see a Vasyl Lomachenko that's too old to win an alphabet title, too old to become a champion again. No, I saw a Vasyl Lomachenko that he could win a title.
Depending on who he has to fight for it. I still have Shakur Stevenson beating him, and I've always thought that.
That Shakur would be the one that gives him his next loss. Legitimately. Not that shit show we saw yesterday.
Obviously, Devin's not going to give him a rematch, because of how dominant he was yesterday. No interest in running it back. In all likelihood, Devin's going to move up in weight and vacate those titles. If he does, there's a chance that Vasyl Lomachenko could pick one up.
Yeah, so long as he doesn't have to fight Shakur for it.
And he might not, Maybe he fights some other guy for some other belt. And maybe Shakur, he picks up a belt. They both become champions at this weight. And maybe they unify with each other at some point next year. It's entirely possible. Because Vasyl Lomachenko isn't talking about retiring and walking away from the sport, that's a feasible scenario. And Shakur, he does need a name. He does need a high-profile fight, though it's unfortunate.
What about Devin?
He can go do what he wants. He didn't win himself any new fans last night with that gift decision.
Eastern European fighters are hard done in the American market. Quite a bit.
Vasyl Lomachenko was a man hard done in the Orlando Salido fight. All those low blows and all those fouls
that fight, this one.
Maybe the powers that be feel there's more money in Devin Haney staying an unbeaten fighter than there is in Vasyl Lomachenko becoming an undisputed champion. Maybe they feel that way. And if in the coming days and weeks news is reported, news is announced that Devin Haney will be facing the winner of Taylor versus Lopez,
if he stays on the top-ranked side of things, then we'll really know what happened.
That make it obvious that the decision was swayed in the younger fighter's way on the premise that there's more money in his career that has more upside, more years left, good ones, than there is in a 35-year-old Ukrainian.
35-year-old Eastern European fighter in the American market.
I mean, think about Artur Beterbiev. He's a prime example of that. You can have a guy with a fan-friendly style who's an unbeaten fighter, a unified champion, very accomplished, all these good things, but he just don't drive numbers.
Maybe that's what they thought of Vasyl Lomachenko and decided, let's screw this guy. There's more money in a younger American fighter.
No language barrier, not as many miles on the odometer, more upside. Let's give him the decision on the premise that he'll fight our other guy.
If Lopez beats Taylor, another young American fighter, then we'll put those two guys in the ring with each other because there's more money in that than the opposite.
More money in that? There's more in it for us, and that's why they decided to screw Vasyl Lomachenko on those scorecards. It just is what it is.
I still think Devin can beat Teofimo Lopez, I still think Devin is a good boxer. I just don't think he won yesterday's fight.
And I don't think that I can look at Taylor versus Lopez as a fair fight in light of what happened yesterday. How do we know that Josh Taylor's not going to get screwed over on the cards?
He better take it out of the judge's hands.
He better interpret last night's robbery as a wake-up call to him that very soon he may find himself in that same position. And he needs to do whatever he's got to do to take it out of the judge's hands, because he might get screwed too.
Fuck you.
Fuck those judges, and fuck whatever con artist tries to sell me the notion that the judges got it right. No, they didn't. You just want me to believe that.
And I don't.